But Pinocchio did not listen to the cricket's words. So, the cat and fox, who in fact were two liars, took Pinocchio to a faraway place. Then they took Pinocchio's money, tied him to a tree, and left him there all by himself.
Help me, somebody help me. Oh, Cricket, I'm just a fool, I'm sorry.
And now, I can you buy a coat for Daddy?
But nobody heard him. Then the Bluffy appeared, but Pinocchio could not tell her the truth.
Pinocchio, why are you crying?
I lost my coin
Oh no, and where did you?
when I crossing the river.
Then Pinocchio felt strange.
What is happening to me?
I once told you that every time you tell a lie, your grow and your nose and your tears will grow, and every time you tell the truth, it will be normal again. And now, Pinocchio, go stay home and look for a reason.
Thank you, good fairy. Goodbye.
Goodbye, Pinocchio.
When Pinocchio was on his way home, he met two boys that were laughing and playing.
What is happening?
We're going to find
What kind of place is that?
It's a place that's a part of the day. There are no schools and no teachers.
Do you want to go with us?
Didn't you promise you will go to school?
Yes, I have been there.
And then his ears started changing. Now he had dunk ears.
Oh, I'm sorry, I lied again.
Remember what the Blue Fairy told you. Go home, Pinocchio.
Yes, Jimmy Cricket.
So, helped by the cricket, Pinocchio went home. But Geppetto wasn't there.
Father,
Pinocchio!
what's wrong?
Pinocchio was on the beach and as Geppetto going into the water when suddenly a big wave swallowed him.
Come on, I have to save you.
Pinocchio, stay here. It's too dangerous for a child.
But it's my father, I'm sorry.
So, Pinocchio went to the beach with his friend the cricket.
Cricket, you stay here. I will go into the water and find that wave.
Pinocchio, no!
When the whale appeared again, he swallowed him too. When he was inside the whale, he saw Geppetto, and both hugged.
Oh, Pinocchio, my son.
Oh, father, I'm sorry. You get help.
Oh, yes, Pinocchio, good idea. I will help you.
Pinocchio pulled Geppetto to safety. Geppetto survived, but Pinocchio lay motionless face down in the tide pool.
Oh, no, Pinocchio, why not to me?
Geppetto, don't cry. Your dream will come true. Pinocchio has grown himself brave and active. So, as I promised, he will return as a real human boy.
She touched Pinocchio with a magic wand.
I'm a real boy. Father, look at me, I'm a real boy.
Pinocchio, thank you so much. Thank you, Fairy.
Fairy, what you done to me?
Thank you, Cricket. You did a good job too. So, I have a gift for you. Here is a gold badge that certifies you as an officer of conscience.
Wow, really? For me? Thank you.
I promise you, I will go to school every day. I promise.
So Pinocchio became a good boy, and he lived forever happily with his father and his friend the cricket.
last one, please.
Once upon a time, long, long ago, a king and queen ruled over a distant land. The queen was kind and lovely, and all the people of the realm adored her. The only sadness in the queen's life was that she wished for a child, but didn't have one.
One winter day, the queen was doing needlework while gazing out her ebony window at the new fallen snow. A bird flew by the window, staring the queen, and she pricked her finger. A single drop of blood from the snow outside her window. As she looked at the blood on the snow, she said to herself,
"Oh, how I wish that I had a daughter with skin as white as snow, lips as red as blood, and hair as black as swan."
Soon after that, the kind queen got her wish when she gave birth to a baby girl who had skin white as snow, lips red as blood, and hair black as ebony. They named the baby princess Snow White, but sadly, the queen died after giving birth to Snow White.
Soon after, the king married a new woman who was beautiful, but as well proud and cruel. She had studied their magic and owned a magic mirror of which she would daily ask.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, the face of them all.
Each time this question was asked, the mirror would give the same answer.
You, O queen, are the fairest of all.
This pleased the queen greatly, as she knew that her magical mirror could speak nothing but the truth.
One morning, when the queen asked,
Mirror, mirror on the wall, the face of them all.
she was shocked when it answered,
You, my queen, are fair, it's true, but Snow White is even fairest than you.
The queen flew into a jealous rage and ordered her huntsmen to take Snow White in the woods to be killed. She demanded that the huntsman return with Snow White's heart as proof.
The poor huntsman took Snow White into the forest, but found himself unable to kill the girl. Instead, he let her go and brought the queen the heart of a willow.
Snow White was now all alone in the great forest, and she didn't know what to do. The trees seemed to whisper to each other, scaring Snow White, who began to run. She ran over sharp stones and through thorns.
She ran as far as her feet could carry her, and just as evening was about to fall, she saw a little house and went inside in order to rest.
Inside the house, everything was small but tidy. There was a little table with a tidy white tablecloth and 7 little plates. Against the wall there were 7 little beds, all in a row and covered with quilts.
Because she was so hungry, Snow White ate a few vegetables and a little bread from each little plate, and from each cup she drank a bit of milk. Afterward, because she was so tired, she lay down on one of the little beds and fell fast asleep.
After dark, the owners of the house returned home.
Hi-ho, 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 here comes the work go. Hi-ho, hi-ho.
They were the 7 dwarfs who might forgo in the mountains. As soon as they arrived home, they said that someone had been there, for not everything was in the same order as they had left it.
Who has been sitting in my chair?
Who has been eating from my plate?
Who has been eating my bread?
Who has been eating my vegetables?
Who has been eating with my fork?
Who has been drinking from my cup?
Oh, good heaven, this child is beautiful.
Shh!
And the next morning,
how did you find your way to our house?
Then she told them that her stepmother had tried to kill her, that the huntsman had spared her life, and that she had run the entire day through the forest, finally stumbling upon their house.
If you will keep house for us, and cook, make beds, wash, sieve and knead, and keep everything clean and orderly, then you can stay with us, and you shall have everything that you want.
Yes, with all my heart.
So Snow White lived happily with the dwarfs. Every morning they went into the mountains looking for gold, and in the evening, when they came back home, Snow White had their meal ready and their house tidy. During the day, the girl was alone, except for the small animals of the forest that she often played with.
Now the queen, believing that she had eaten Snow White's heart, could only think that she was again the first and the most beautiful woman of all. She stepped before her mirror and said,
Mirror, mirror on the wall, who in this land is fairest of all?
You, my queen, are fair, it's true, but Snow White, beyond the mountains, with the 7 dwarfs, is still 1,000 times fairest than you.
This startled the queen, for she knew that the mirror didn't lie, and she realized that the huntsman had deceived her, and that Snow White was still alive. Then she thought and thought again how she could rid herself of Snow White, for as long as she wasn't the most beautiful woman in the entire land, her jealousy would give her no rest.
At last she thought of something. She went into her most secret room. No one else was alive inside, and she made an especial apple. Only the one half was poisoned. Anyone who might eat a little piece of it would die. Coloring her face, she disguised herself as an old older woman, so that no one would recognize her, and traveled to the dwarf's house.
I must not let anyone in. The 7 dwarfs have forbidden me to do so.
That is all right with me. I will easily get rid of my apple. Here, I will give you one of these.
No, I cannot accept anything from strangers.
Are you afraid of poison? Look, I will cut the apple into two. You eat half, and I shall eat half.
Luck is gone. But shall never awaken. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who in this land is fairest of all?
You, my queen, are fairest of all.
Then her cruel and jealous heart was at rest, as well as cruel and jealous heart can be at rest.
Hi-ho, 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 it's off to work we go. Hi-ho, hi-ho.
When the dwarfs came home that evening, they found Snow White lying on the ground. She was not breathing at all. She was dead. They lifted her up and looked at her longingly. They talked to her, shook her, and wept over her, but nothing helped. The dear child was dead, and she remained dead.
They laid her on a bed of straw, and all 7 sat next to her, and mourned for her, and cried for 3 days. They were going to bury her, but she still looked as fresh, as living person, and still had beautiful red cheeks.
Then buried her in the black earth.
So they had a transparent glass coffin made so she could be seen from all sides. They laid her inside, and with golden letters wrote on it her name, and that she was a princess. Then they put the coffin outside on the mountain, and one of them always stayed with it and watched over her.
Now it came to pass that a prince entered this wood and happened onto the dwarf's house, where he sought shelter for the night. He saw the coffin on the mountain with beautiful Snow White in it, and he read what was written on it with golden letters.
Let me have the coffin. I will give you anything you want for it.
We will not sell it for all the gold in the world.
Then give it to me, for I cannot live without being to our Snow White. I will honor her and respect her as my most cherished one.
As he thus spoke, the good dwarfs felt pity for him and gave him the coffin. The prince had his servants carry it away on their shoulders, but then it happened that one of them stumbled on some brush, and this disclosed from Snow White's throat the piece of poisoned apple that she had bitten off. Not long afterwards she opened her eyes, lifted the lid from her coffin, sat up, and was alive again.
Heavens, where am I?
You are with me. I love you more than anything else in the world. Come with me to my father's castle. You shall become my wife.
Snow White loved him, and she went with him. The wedding was planned with great splendor and majesty.
Snow White's weak stepmother was invited to the feast, and when she had arrayed herself in her most beautiful garments, she stood before her mirror and said,
Mirror on the wall, queen's land is brave and bold.
You, my queen, are fair, it's true, but the young queen is 1,000 times fairer than you.
No! Not knowing that this new queen was indeed her stepdaughter, she arrived at the wedding, and her heart filled with the deepest of dread when she realized the truth. The evil queen was banished from the land forever, and the prince and Snow White lived happily ever after.
Dziękujemy wszystkim za przybycie. Mamy nadzieję, że występ Wam się podobał.